Welcome to Comically Comics, your one-stop listen to all things comics. We're talking books, movies, TV shows, video games, and more. I must forewarn you, though, we are a spoilercast, and what that means is we consider all properties, past, future, and present, to be valid, and we will spoil the hell out of them. I'm your host, Michael, along with my two co-hosts, Richard and Jeremy, and with all that being said, let's get started. All right, it is Sunday, January 14th, and we are back with another 3-episode review of What If 4, 5, and 6. So, outside of that, real quick, either one of y'all watched any of Echo?
No,
not yet.
I really want to, but I'm trying to resist.
I went ahead and watched the first episode.
Okay.
Me and my honey
Oh,
did.
really?
I did. And Daredevil's in the first episode.
Oh shit!
Oh, wow.
Not long,
Just going ahead and throwing them out there, huh?
but there's one scene in particular, like one thing he does. I'm like, oh fuck, I've not seen that in live action. That's awesome. So,
Really?
yeah.
Is it with his billy clubs?
I can't say for certain if it was the Billy Clubs, but it's an action that he did with a set of shelving.
Okay, because I've seen some like fight sequence between him and Echo.
Okay. Yeah. This was with him and Echo.
Okay.
So whenever my wife and I were watching the What If episodes, of course they had the ad that would scroll up there on Disney Plus for Echo.
Yeah.
And she was like, just, basically they're trying to get all these new characters out there, but nobody's really getting behind all these new characters. And she's just like, it just kind of sucks. And I was like, well, I think the problem was that they just there for a while, and then we've talked about it too, of course, where they just threw all these characters out there just to try and see which one would land, and then but didn't really put any kind of quality into it.
Right.
So then everybody just got tired of them and didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be. You should let your wife know that apparently Echo, because it was on Hulu and Disney Plus, it's like its most watched show right now on Disney Plus.
Really?
Yeah.
See, the thing that I heard was that it got the second worst, opening.
Really?
And it was only above Secret Invasion.
I've heard the exact opposite, that it was like it's one of its most watched shows.
There you go.
Well,
Fuckery in the media. Go figure.
yeah. Who
All right.
would have guessed there'd be fake news out there?
Right. All right. Let's start off with episode 4. What if Iron Man crashed into the Grand Master? So in this story, instead of Iron Man coming back down from Earth in Avengers 1 and not getting sucked into the portal, he didn't make it and bounced around through space, landing where the Grand Master is, and they had a death race, essentially. So, no Jason Statham this time. That's a waste. I'm just saying, Frankenstein should have been there.
Yeah.
So, what is y'all's whelmings on this episode here?
Mine is honestly, I'm pleasantly on the higher end of pleasantly whelmed,
Nice.
close to overly. Just because I don't know, I just enjoyed this one. I liked getting having the old Tony, kind of like his smart mouth, something still there, but then also getting Jeff in there, Grandmaster voicing that, it was just a good banter between those two. And I really, really liked what he did with the suit there in the race and everything, what Tony Stark did. So it was a fun one to me. I enjoyed it.
Cool. Richard, what do you think?
Yeah, I was pleasantly whelmed by this episode as well. Though I felt like I was missing an episode, and then I realized, oh yeah, that's that Gamora from last season, so it just felt very weird. But yeah, I was pleasantly whelmed. Anytime we get Tony, what Jeremy said, when we get the Tony, building something in a cave with a box of scraps, I enjoy it. Yeah.
Tony Stark was able to build this in a cave with a box of scraps.
That's the best movie right there. I love that one.
Yeah.
It's my favorite. Cool. Well, I'm glad y'all liked it. I was totally underwhelmed. Completely underwhelmed. And I was actually excited about this one. I like the whole death race idea and all that jazz, but I think I fell asleep during this several times over. It's taken me a good bit to try and watch this one. So yeah, totally underwhelmed. And yeah, that's really it. I don't care about Gamora anymore. I don't care about that Gamora. I just don't.
I'll do you one better. Why is Gamora?
I'm loving these already. No, because I mean, like you said, like this is the Gamora from the finale of last season's deal, and she just was kind of there and just showed up, and this is supposed to be what happened before we got that Gamora.
Yeah.
So this is like a prequel to something that happened last year that I don't even care about anymore. Like, we don't even have any kind of Gamora really in the MCU anymore. Like, it's some random other timely, not with Peter. It's weird. I don't know.
Yeah. I like it because it's more of like comic book Gamora. But yeah. But this episode really didn't focus on her. Like, it's kind of a Tony story that he ends up influencing her to change, which I think is why maybe they rewrote this episode to be more about Tony than Gamora, essentially.
The things that I did like were Tony's suit. I thought that was freaking awesome.
Yeah.
The way it's a suit and then it turns into a car and then he races it. I'm like, yes, that's cool because that's Tony Stark right there.
Yeah.
And then like at the end when he wins and the suit comes back onto him or whatever, and it's like a Hulkbuster type suit.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I love that part. And then Jeff Goldblum as the Grandmaster is the best. I'd want that to never, ever change. Like, ever.
I was a couple of things. Yeah, I one of my notes was I love the suit and how it can like transform into a Formula One racing car, and like that is very Tony. Also, younger me would have loved the toy that eventually comes out that like transforms into like that Iron Man suit and then into a race car. Like, I absolutely would have loved that. Yeah, I was shocked. At first when watching this episode, I was like, oh, they got someone doing a Jeff Goldblum like impression. And I was like, that's a really good Jeff Goldblum impression. And then I like went on to IMDb and I'm like, nope, they actually got Jeff Goldblum. And
Right?
he is just Jeff Goldbluming all over this episode.
Yes,
Right?
he is.
Right? Well, and like y'all were saying earlier, this was definitely a Tony story. And even the Watcher says that like right before he gets the story going, it's like Gamora started in somebody else's story. So I don't know. The story in and of itself is meh to me. And then
Yeah.
like
I did love the room that they put Tony and Gamora in. Like, I didn't notice. I can't remember if it did or not, but like, I feel like the bed should have been heart-shaped.
Yeah.
right? Right?
For one.
I don't
Kind of the way it felt.
remember.
But then,
I think it was. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, part of me wondered, like, I thought I had noticed it, but now I'm going back, I can't remember. But also, I just love that, like, he just one little button from his watch and opened the door. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. And like he turns his arc reactor, it just pops the little thing off.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot of like I wrote down, you mentioned it in like your whelming, that there was just a lot of great, like whoever wrote for this episode, they really captured Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
Like, because it wasn't RDJ voicing this actor or this character, but the way they wrote it, like he keeps calling like the Grandmaster like Wizard of Oz, Technicolor Dreamcoat. Korg he calls Mount Rushmore. Gamora he calls her Xena. Oscar the Grouch, Lady Grinch, and then I love at the final race when the chariot shows up and he's like, "Well, slap me and call me Spartacus." all that felt very Tony like, and of course the chaotic good of him, where he's like, ever heard of campground rules, and you leave the place better than when you left it or when you came. But anyway, I thought they did a really great job of capturing that.
Yeah. I can. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I know you were tired of Korg, but the one that I did kind of like was his like nemesis of paper. I kind of chuckled at that.
When he had to be the paperweight for the Grandmaster. Yeah. Korg was totally misused in that first episode. Here he's appropriate.
Yeah.
And like he was not needed in that first episode. Here I loved him. He was really funny. He added comedic timing where it needed it. And anyway.
Yeah.
What do y'all feel about the ending of this episode? So Valkyrie jumps out, hits. I can't even remember that. Basically, the Grandmaster's like right hand woman. I can't remember what her name is.
Topaz.
Yeah.
Yes. Hits her vehicle that's got the like
Melting stick.
pruning wand on it, apparently. And it flies in the air and then it taps Grandmaster on the foot. And I think his exit was great and spot on. Like, I love the Jeff Goldblum exit on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But just that whole sequence, I was like, oh, this is stupid.
I liked it. I thought it was really funny. And yeah, like Jeff Goldblum really plays it up.
Yeah.
You did see that we had a post-credit scene with him in that episode.
I did not.
Yeah,
I didn't either.
he's a puddle, and he's talking with Topaz, and he's like, "Oh, get a sponge. Yes, sponge me, absorb me up. Yes."
No, I love his, like, I think the writing altogether in this was, like, as far as, like, the dialogue that was wrote,
Yeah.
I think that was great. The story, I don't care. I just don't care.
Yeah,
Which is like
Yeah.
a theme so far for this season with me. I don't know maybe it's just me. But I don't care.
Well, and even like the very ending with the Gamora like touching Thanos with it.
Oh,
it
that pissed me off.
pissed
me off.
Why?
Just because, like, he wouldn't have allowed that, or
Thanos absolutely would not have just sat there while Gamora is freaking Thundercat jumping towards him. And there's a wand flying in the air. Like, no. She was close quarters with him in Infinity War, went to stab him. You know what I mean? Like, I know that was all the Reality Stone thing, but like he knew that far ahead to like sit there. I'm like, no.
I think his guard was down just because at this point Gamora hadn't like abandoned him, whereas the Reality Stone scene, he knew that she had already become like good Gamora and not like his like best evil daughter kind of thing.
She was still his little one in this episode.
Yes.
No.
So I did have some beef though with some of the episode. Like, one, they missed a perfect opportunity when the Grandmaster reveals his champion for the first like race, and it's Snuffy, the like weird like elephant thing. They could have brought in one of the many other champions that we see on the side of like the Grandmaster's building, where Man-Thing, Beast, Dark Crawler, or my personal favorite, I think they should have done Beta Ray Bill, and Ares is another one on there. Like,
Ares would have been good.
It would have been so cool to bring one of those characters, since they'll probably never do one of those characters for like a movie. So just show that. I don't understand why they ended up doing the weird elephant thing.
Well, we got Man-Thing.
No, I know. But I'm saying like that he's just one of the guys on there. I know we've gotten Man-Thing from Werewolf by Night, but I'm just saying you could have used Man-Thing again if you wanted to, or you could have used one of the others.
I was thinking Beta Ray Bill would have been great, but Ares, man, that would have been cool too.
Yeah. Now, the biggest complaint, and I'm surprised you haven't brought this up yet, Michael, is that Tony's armor, they messed up big time continuity wise. Tony's armor in this in this episode, it's like the Mark 42 armor where pieces fly up and like attach to him. But at that time, he had the Mark 7 armor where it shoots out like a big giant pod, like a missile, fires at him. It lines up on his bracelets, and then it like cocoons around him.
Yes.
And none of the pieces come apart and like reattach together. That's in Iron Man 3.
Right.
And I was just like, guys, y'all seriously fucked up here continuity wise.
Yeah. No, I noticed it. I'd already shit on it enough.
Okay. You're just like, I'm so jaded. I don't care anymore.
But yeah, no, I was like, whatever. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Well, and I will say he did do that with like the Hulkbuster armor or whatever.
Yeah.
The idea of it to like, so like that wasn't the armor that No, you're right. Because when he was standing there, he's like, "Why is it taking so long?" You're right.
Mhm.
I know what you're talking about now. Yes.
Yeah, when he
that was a total. Yeah.
when he goes to
That was
attack
garbage.
Snuffy,
Yes.
the armor's like flying to him, and it's just like a foot piece, a shoulder
Yes.
piece, a hand piece, and I think his like helmet. And I was like, the armor doesn't do that yet.
No.
He's on 7 right now. 42
Right.
has not come yet.
Meaning of life.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
So those were like really my 2 biggest complaints. But I really liked some of the vehicles in that final race. They looked very Mad Maxian.
Mm.
Which that race, you mentioned Death Race, which it does feel like that. But you know, honestly, what it felt like to me? It felt like episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
I was wondering.
Oh.
It felt like pod racing.
Now this is pod racing.
Because there was one, the one that actually Tony was on with the tire in front.
Mhm.
Yes.
It kind of reminded. There was one on there that was very similar in the pod racing stuff.
I never got. Now that you say that, though, I totally see it.
Mm.
Like I didn't think that though, but now yes, yes, absolutely. That's funny.
The last thing, sort of big important thing that I had was just Tony is trying to convince Valkyrie to like join up with them. And he mentions, like chasing this demon in a bottle, which
Yep.
is a reference to a big famous storyline from Iron Man called the same name, Demon in a Bottle, where he deals with his alcoholism and like superhearing while being an alcoholic.
Yeah.
And anyway,
Really?
I thought that was a cool like Easter egg for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably like the biggest Iron Man story there is.
Oh, really?
With like Armor Wars or Doom Quest. Either one of those. Doom Quest is like 149, 150. But Armor Wars is a big one as well.
Armor Wars. What's the one where the suit comes to life? It's written by Joe Quesada. That's a big one as well. I can't remember the name of it.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, Extremist.
No,
Is that what you're talking about?
I don't think so. I don't think it's the Extremis one. It's literally where like the suit gets struck by lightning and it like becomes self-aware and
Oh,
Like-
I haven't read that.
it's like in love with Tony or something. It's creepy.
That's cool. I need to find that. I'm sure I have it. I just haven't read it. Cool. Y'all got anything else for this episode?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Jeremy, for you to be so pleasantly whelmed, you didn't have a lot to put in there.
I did too.
He kind of just blurbed it all at the beginning.
That is
Yeah.
true. Yeah. Yeah. You shot your load quick.
Yeah, you don't
Yeah.
ever shoot your load that quick, Jeremy.
Well, takes practice.
Yes. Gotta pace yourself.
Oh, man. You get another shot. Episode 5. What if
Well,
Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomper?
it always takes a little bit longer.
You need more time to rest? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Yeah, it takes a little bit longer the next time, that quick. So
That's great. What's your whelming on this one? What if Captain Carter fought the Hydra Stomper?
I'll probably say I was whelmed on this one. It was okay. I like Captain Carter. I think I like seeing that one. I think they do a great job with her on stuff like that. But I don't know. It was just seemed kind of sporadic to me. I don't know. It didn't flow real well, and just this. It was one of those that for me the story didn't seem like really well thought out.
I got a big head and a little arms, and I don't think this plane was thrown out.
No. No, it was not.
Richard, what is your whelming?
I was whelmed to underly whelmed. And you know what? The more and more I think about it, I think I'm just underly whelmed. I think this is like one of the weakest episodes so far. It's just a poor imitation of the Winter Soldier with the Black Widow movie sprinkled about it.
Right.
And it honestly also loses a lot of points with me because it didn't include David Harbour's Red Guardian. I'm just saying.
Yeah, because Melina did show up in this.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
you're missing Belova and Red Guardian. That is true.
Yeah.
Well, I was actually pleasantly whelmed by this episode.
Oh my God.
Up until this point, this is like my favorite episode so far of the season.
Oh,
Like,
Jesus H. Christ.
I like
Just like
that
you
it's-
just let us to go first, and then you
Yeah.
do the difference at the
Yeah,
end.
sometimes I seriously think he does do that.
I think it's hilarious though, but no, I wish I was that smart. No, I like that it was like the Winter Soldier, but like also the Black Widow. Honestly, I thought it was a better Black Widow movie than what we got. So
I disagree, though. Like the Black Widow movie isn't like as great, but I disagree totally. Like, well, okay, so
what did you hate about this? Let's get it. Come
Yeah.
on, shit on this.
Okay, well, my number one complaint is this is a world that apparently Iron Man exists in as well as the Hydra Stomper. So why the fuck do you not just call Tony in to deal with it immediately? Like the Hydra Stomper is literally just Tony with less tech. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he just has a big giant fucking rocket ship on the back of him, and he has machine guns. He doesn't have missiles. He doesn't have lasers. He doesn't have repulsors. It's just dick all for what Hydra Stomper has. And when he's trying to assassinate Bucky, I'm just like, just fucking call in Iron Man. Why why are we futzing around with this shit? Just call in Iron Man. He'd probably shoot some fucking nanotech thing and it'd probably tie him up and boom, done. End of story. Like it's just such the weakest, like bad writing for this episode. There's also some like there's a point where Peggy talks about like she's bitching to Fury about how like how could you not tell me this and all this stuff, and then she's like, I want a whole team, a medevac, whatever, and he's like, we're not gonna do that off of like a rumor, and she's like, you do not understand, I am Peggy Carter and he is Steve Rogers, and I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean? Like to me, I was like, that's such a bad line because it feels like it's talking about like the fandom, like, oh, it's Peggy and Steve, but like in universe, like what does that mean to Nick Fury, to Shield? Like,
Right.
okay, who gives a shit? Like,
Congratulations.
he's a myth at this point. Like, I don't know. Like, they didn't fully think out through some of the stuff. I have a whole bunch more, but I'm gonna take a breath for a second.
While you're breathing, they did make a comment towards bringing in Tony, and the rebuttal to that was they didn't have time for that.
Yeah, well, that's such bad writing.
They even threw in Banner for good measure.
Yeah.
And they didn't have time for it, Richard. There was no time for that.
And like, Peggy is so hard up for that fucking D. And what I mean by that D, I mean that dance. She's like, this motherfucker owes me a dance. God damn it. I will get my fucking dance. Like, it's so, I don't know. This whole episode just irked the shit out of me. I loved the start of it, like the cute like banter between, like, you see like the whatever, the Avengers assembling, and it's like slightly different, and like the banter between Widow and Peggy.
Which they didn't bring the Hulk in on that. Like, what? Wait, they missed the whole line.
That's right. Yeah. Is he in that?
Is he not? Well, no, he's not, because she doesn't turn. I was waiting for the whole like Hulk smash.
Oh
thing,
yeah.
but she never said that. So I was like, well, but then they reference Banner, so is this Banner not Hulk in this universe? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. They didn't think very hard on writing this episode, I think is what it is.
They just needed Carter to get to the end of the episode so that they can move another
Exactly.
episode further along.
Well, that's my big, like, that's what it feels like. It feels like, this is just filler until we can have the stinger sort of moment so we can set up for whatever the finale is going to be or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what the fuck it's going to be.
Yeah.
Which I did like. I did like the whole like Watcher showing up at the end, and he says,
I am the Watcher. I see all. I observe all. I know. What the hell is this?
That was great.
I thought that
Yeah.
shit was pretty funny.
Yes.
And then like,
I think I know though the main reason though is because you didn't get to stop for shawarma on the way out.
the irony is not lost on me though. Like at the beginning when the Watcher is like talking about like, I don't normally do sequels, And like, I'm like, but you're in a seat. Like, this is season 2 of a show. You're in a seat. Like, and this is also a sequel to a story from last season. And then the way it ends, it seems like there's going to be a sequel to that. Like, what do you mean you don't do sequels?
Well, and then the episode right before this one was a prequel to an episode from the first season, which means that would have been a sequel to that episode. So you've already done the sequel.
Lord.
It's just sequelception at this point.
Right. My one negative that I had was Bucky looks horrendous.
Yeah, he
horrible, whatever word you want to say that invokes horror and ugliness. Like, that was Bucky. He looks like shit.
He did not age well, is what you're saying.
Absolute shit. So
yeah, I agree. The model for him looked really bad. And I meant to mention this, but the model for Valkyrie in the last episode didn't look a thing like fucking Tessa Thompson. So yeah, anyway, it's bad. It's bad. I agree. Also, I think it would have been way cooler if you'd have done a moment when Hydra Stomper shows up in front of Bucky and Bucky's like, "Hey, Steve, it's me. It's me, man. It's Bucky." They should have done the classic line from both the comic and the movie where Steve should have opened up the panel and been like, "Who the hell is Bucky?" And then just shot him. That would have been so much cooler.
Yeah.
Because they even did that in The Winter Soldier, did they not?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very iconic line from the comic book that they recreated in the movie that I thought they were going to do here and they didn't. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. That's a letdown.
Kind of blue balled you on that one.
Yes, it did.
To bring it back to the sex references. Hey, but they acknowledged Captain Carter the musical.
Big fucking whoop.
I'm just saying, that's a callback to Hawkeye right there.
Yeah.
We can call back to that.
That was pretty funny. Oh, and then of course you got at the end, like the whole, to me, like the Independence Day like finale. Just flies straight up in the middle there.
That shit was so dumb. Like that was the other thing she's telling him, like, she's like, "I want to be with you. I'm tired of fighting and all this stuff." And he just like looks at her and goes,
"Oh, well."
Just like, nope, fucking flies up and kills himself.
Do you think in this universe that Steve Rogers just has 2 left feet and he's that terrified of going on a dance with Becky?
I'm wondering, does he even have like a body? Because Natasha mentions he's like RoboCop. So I'm like, is he just a head? Like, is that all he is now?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's honestly what I was wondering too. If he opened it and what was it, that on the Men in Black character guy?
It's just a little alien guy driving.
Yeah.
Yeah. I seriously think it's got to be like he's just a head with like some organs in that suit now.
Just imagine the body odor that would come out, like the decaying nastiness if you ever opened it.
Well, if it's just organs, they could just put it like in like, I don't know, glass tubes.
But it'd be like opening a 50-year-old cast.
Oh God. Like a can of Spam in there.
I think what I love so much about this episode is like the first of it when they're on the boat and like they have that first run in with Cap. I love Steve. I love that. And then I love all the like when they're in the town.
Mm.
And it's like that Fallout kind of scenery, the video game Fallout.
Yeah.
And all the 50s looking stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
I loved all that. I loved and throughout the show, I loved all the slow motion, like stuff they would do, like spinning through handrails and stuff like that. And
yeah,
I loved all that. I thought that was great.
I specifically wrote a note down. I was like, when the widows are like jumping through the fence.
Yes.
It's so goofy looking. Like I laughed out loud at how stupid it was. One of them was like sideways, but like not in a way that you would normally, like, I don't know. It just looks goofy as hell.
I loved it.
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. Like it was just had to be all dramatic and acrobatic whenever they do all this. Because
Yes.
even like there at the beginning, whenever Peggy does it, she does the
Yeah.
whole like spinning thing through the bars.
Yes! I thought it was great. I loved
I mean,
it.
I thought it was pretty cool whenever she did it, but then like all the other ones did it. I was like, oh, okay, well, that wasn't anything special than what she did.
Yeah, I thought when Peggy does it, I thought it was cool. But when the widows do it, one of them is literally like, it looks like they just took the model and the way she was upright and just turned her horizontal and then just animated her going through the fence. Like, it's just goofy looking.
I loved it. That was all my notes.
So, no, you go ahead because mine's more about the ending. So go ahead.
Oh, just like when all the like robots are like shooting the widow stings at them and
Yeah.
stuff, I'm like, just fly away. Just fucking like, just fly away. Just fly up and fly away. But they don't. They just stay and fight and they get like all electrocuted. And then the other thing that drove me nuts is when the other widows show up, they've all got like assault rifles. But our widow, like Natasha, she's just got her little pistols. And I'm just like, why didn't you bring something more effective? You know, you would probably like be
Yeah.
fighting these people. I don't know. It just
It
drives me
didn't
nuts.
fit in the bodysuit.
She can have it slung over her.
So the one I just was wondering about the ending, that little kind of quote unquote stinger there at the end where she just falls through and in some other world. Like, is that just kind of what you'd said earlier, where it's apparently maybe something for the finale at the end of the season?
Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, I want to say there's an episode called like "What if the Avengers assembled in 1602" or something like that.
Yup.
There's an infamous story written by Neil Gaiman, the guy that wrote Sandman and other great stories.
Yeah.
It's called Marvel 1602. I think they're doing that story essentially. I haven't watched it yet because I'm trying not to watch ahead to like affect what I'm rating these episodes for as they come out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I haven't watched it yet, but I do know there's an episode titled that. So I'm assuming that's what it is, since they've got all the like goofy looking like attire and mustache and everything.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know. That's part of me thought it'd be kind of cool, like if they were doing that to bring them to like our MCU or something like that. Like if we were actually going to get like a Captain Carter in the MCU or something.
I mean,
you
I think
talking 616.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the possibility of us getting Captain Carter is like there.
Oh, really?
Like we've already seen her once.
Yeah.
So, and like the movie with Secret Wars on the horizon, whatever that's going to look like or be now, considering all the news that we haven't gone over yet.
Yeah, exactly.
But I would almost put money on it. We're going to see, like, unless there's just a falling out between them and Haley Atwell,
Yeah,
I would bet we see them in Secret Wars.
I do too.
So
I got you.
She's very popular with a lot of people, so I absolutely see her being in Secret Wars. I don't think she'll be in the 616 proper
yeah,
for like a permanent stay, but she'll definitely show up for like a cameo where she doesn't get bifurcated by her own shield.
right, right. But on top of that, like we've already seen Maria Rambeau twice now. So
Yeah.
with that being like they're actively bringing these characters back, and they're keeping them alive, whether it be through live action stingers or cartoons. So
Yeah.
I just feel like there's more of a we could get that live action again. But I agree with Richard. I don't think we'll get them in the 616. So
Like,
the movie
616.
616.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I called it 616, but we should just call it 19999.
And then Carter's she's had a comic book series too.
Mm-hmm.
Like her own self-titled Captain Carter like comic book series that came out after the What If TV show. First season.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that last time we talked about Captain Carter and What If.
Was she not like a big character before?
No.
I mean, she was a character, but Captain Carter was not a character in the comics.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The last thing I have, Michael, is I like when Widow is talking with Carter about how she killed the head of the Red Room, and Peggy questions if she killed him or not, and she's like, "Well, I stabbed him in the carotid artery with a corkscrew," and she's like, "You should write a memoir," and she's like, "More like a how-to manual."
Yeah.
I thought that got a chuckle out of my wife, who
Well,
is not a big fan of these shows.
she said with a corkscrew, and she's like, so yeah, pretty sure.
yeah, exactly.
So I thought that was great. I wanted to mention real quick that with Jeremy's, what he was asking about as far as like Captain Carter and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
The closest thing in the comic books we had before the What If TV show was there was a series, I believe it's called Exiles, and Peggy Carter in that series was Captain America.
Oh, really?
So she didn't go by Captain Carter. She had on like Captain America, like she was Captain America.
Mm.
And so
With a British accent?
yes.
Okay.
I don't think they called her Captain Britain. I'm pretty sure because if you look up all the like key stuff, that was a book that was really, really hot whenever this episode was coming out. But it stated Peggy Carter as Captain America, not Captain Carter.
I also don't think Peggy is British in the comics. It wasn't until the movies that they made her British.
I don't remember. I know she had run-ins with Stark.
Yeah, I don't know much about
and like Tales of Suspense back in the Silver Age.
Because to be honest with you, I like Chris Evans Captain America, comic book Captain America. I really don't care. I like him when he's in books, but I don't like reading his individual books. He's just not my taste of. I like Lawful Good, but that's what Spider-Man does for me. Like he scratches that itch for me.
I can see that. Cool. Y'all got anything else?
No, I'm good.
Yep, I'm good too.
On to the last episode, episode 6. Well, last episode for us anyways. What if Kahori reshaped the world? Now, Kahori is a Native American. I want to say that it said something in the title thing. It said Mohawk tribe.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I was looking it up. The language that they use is supposedly the Mohawk language.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know if that was the thing or not. This is a brand new character. Never in the comic books, never hinted at, nothing along those lines. Crazy, weird story. The Tesseract left Asgard after Ragnarok and landed on Earth in this water and is sucking people down. So, yeah. People are fighting over it, calling it the Fountain of Youth. What is y'all's whelmings on this brand new story? Brand new, I assume brand new story. I don't know a story that's like it. Not that I know everything, but I don't know a story. It didn't remind me of anything. But definitely brand new character.
Underwhelmed. I was like, this is weird. I don't know. I mean, like, I think it's cool that they use the Mohawk and like their language and everything. But I was just like, I don't know. Whoever wrote this must have gotten a Tesseract of their own and just it took them to places, and I don't know. It was weird.
I think the reason why apparently the people that they consulted, it's based off of like Native American like lore, like fantasy, essentially, like the sky world and the sky people. Like I think they call them thunder people. All of that is like essentially stories that Native Americans told like each other, and like anyway, that's what I was learning when I was like researching this episode.
Which I mean, like I get and I understand. Like I figured as much as far as on that. I don't know. It just wasn't working for me.
This is how you just didn't care.
Yeah,
Like just say it the way it is. You just didn't care.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, I guess.
Richard, what's your whelming?
I was whelmed to pleasantly whelmed, more so on the whelmed side, because I thought it was a very interesting idea, but the story was just kind of boring. It felt like it was very influenced by Avatar, the blue cat people, not the Last Airbender.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it was a cool idea. I just thought it was poorly executed, in my opinion.
Okay. I think I'm going to second Richard here. I think I was on that whelmed to like pleasantly whelmed, but more in the whelm section of it. I feel like the story was interesting enough, but like took way too long to like actually get to the point of everything.
Mhm.
So there's some stuff that I just feel like they either could have sped up or cut out altogether or something to that effect. So
See,
'cause-
like I don't know. It almost feels like to me like they should have made this one a little bit longer
Yeah,
to
I
kind of
agree.
expand on the story. So,
really,
Yeah. Because it was like, oh no, we're getting blown up. Oh no, here we are at the Sky World. All right, let's kill the other people that blew us up, and then we're done. Like,
Yeah. I know what you're talking about, Jeremy. I think, yeah, this one was really hurt by the like 30-minute runtime or however long it was. It was very short and it needed some more time to flush some stuff out.
yeah.
Oh no, I didn't need it. No,
Michael's
I didn't
like,
need any more time.
No, don't make me suffer through more of this.
I was getting bored with it there in the middle, like when she actually made it to the Sky World, like the continuous trying. Like I know they were trying to be funny, but that was getting on my nerves, and it was just I don't know. I didn't need all that stuff. I don't need more dancing either. Like whoever's working in the animation department, either figure the dancing out or don't draw it, don't animate it, don't whatever, because it looks horrendous. All the dancing looks really bad. I don't like it at all. It's just no, don't do it anymore. And
Maybe that's why Steve didn't dance.
good. It's good reason. You know, hey, let's clap for my boy on that one
Yes.
because because yes, no dancing, Steve. Yes,
Yeah.
2 left feet. But so, and then the other thing is that like me and subtitles don't get along. We don't. I'm not great at reading, and so it takes me even longer to watch something sometimes, and it's just like it's cool to hear it in the native tongue,
Yeah.
but it's not cool for me to have to read it on my TV because I'm watching the TV because I don't want to think really.
You don't want to read because you're watching it.
Right.
I'm watching television because I choose not to read, damn it.
Because if I wanted to read, I'd pick up the book. Got boxes of them. Like,
You know, I specifically wrote this note down because I figured you would bring this up. And like, I absolutely agree with you. Like, I watch tons of Japanese anime, and I usually watch, sometimes in the traditional Japanese language with English subtitles. I usually always try to find the dub just because it's easier, but I still turn on English subtitles because sometimes, I may mishear something. But anyway, my biggest damn complaint, and this goes for every streaming service, you fucks. If you're gonna force the viewer to read while watching a show, make it so that if I pause, the interface does not cover up the subtitles.
right?
You make them pop up just above
Yes.
the whatever the I forget what that's
Timeline
called. Yeah, the timeline bar. Because I cannot, like, rewatching it today, I was watching it on my computer while taking my notes, and every time I paused, that user interface was covering up what was being said, and I was like, fucking stop. So many places do that, and it drives me up the fucking wall.
Please keep preaching on this. Somebody get this man a fucking cookie and a glass of water because he is so on point with that shit.
Glass of water? I want some milk with that cookie, damn it.
He gets what he wants. Get him milk. Get him a large glass of milk. Dunking rim as well. Like,
Yes.
Yeah. One of those where it's so narrow that you go to dunk the cookie and it just gets stuck.
right?
It's a sad day.
I think you're a monster anyways if you dunk a cookie, but that's just me.
Well, Oreos.
Yeah.
No. It dirties the milk. No.
What? You don't dunk your Oreos in milk?
Absolutely not.
Oh my
No.
God. I think you're a monster, sir.
Yeah.
Well, I will say, like, I've actually got more on the, like, I put peanut butter on my Oreos. So just eat it that way.
You're a monstrosity. You're Oh, they didn't they make like peanut butter Oreos there? Like
They've
like
made
instead of
every
the white. That's true. That is true. I don't even know why I'm questioning this, honestly, because it's bound to have happened. But I thought they're like early on they did like peanut butter filling instead of the white vanilla or whatever or the Oreo cookies.
Yeah, I'm sure they have.
Yeah. They don't put enough in
Did you
there.
go like fucking ham on that?
Well, they don't put enough in there. You gotta get another scoop of peanut butter and put it on there.
Jeremy likes a little bit of Oreo with his peanut butter, is what he's trying to
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. Okay. Not even comic-y pasta. This is straight pasta right here, real quick. So I learned something new. I don't know if they've changed the filling in Oreos. I don't know how this has worked or whatever, but we've had Oreos in the house lately. And my son and my daughter, my youngest daughter, they're sitting on the couch and they're eating Oreos. And I walk out of the room, I walk back in, and my daughter has what to me looked like was one of those makeup pad removers in her hand. And I'm like, oh shit, you don't need, like, that's not food. You're not eating, she's 3. I'm like, you're not eating that. And I go over there and I look, I'm like, hey, sweetie, what do you got? She holds it up to me and I get to look at it. It's the fucking filling.
It's the cream.
She has removed the cream completely from both damn cookies. And I'm like,
That's impressive.
Yeah.
right? That was me. I was like, I got a fucking prodigy sitting here on the couch right now.
It's a witch. It's witchcraft.
Right. Like shit. So I go to my wife and I'm like, hey, have you seen this? And she's like,
Honey, come here.
she's like, yeah, watch. And she does it right there in the kitchen.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, I got 2 in the house now.
That's hilarious.
I think they have messed with the cream now in Oreos, and I'm kind of scared to eat them because you can actually remove the cream from both cookies intact. Like, I don't know. It scares me. But they're delicious as fuck. But it still scares me.
Yeah.
I love fucking Oreo. But you got to dunk it. You got to drown that bitch like a hooker. You got to drown it until no more bubbles pop up.
I actually take an Oreo and I will put the entire thing in my mouth and chew it up that way, and then like I'll have a drink of whatever afterwards. I don't even like bite.
Stick a fork in the cream and then dunk it into the milk. That way you don't even get milk all over your hands. It's delicious. It's delicious.
Where my Oreo story was going was, Jeremy, you can remove the filling now and just put as much peanut butter on that cookie and then squish it down.
Oh, I still like the cream in there too.
You're in it. Oh my God. You
because what? Like, see, well, yeah,
What?
I untwist it, and then,
That boy ain't right.
well, I twist it off, and then I get a scoop of peanut butter, put it on the Oreo, and smush, and it's good.
I thought we were going back to sex references again with that twisted off. Jeremy's over here smashing Oreos, y'all.
Yep.
What?
I've killed Michael.
To bring it back to the actual episode here, we were talking about languages and subtitles and whatnot like that. So part of the conflict was the Spanish had come in to the Native Americans' territories, and so they'd gone back, or everybody says nobody went back, but we move over and start talking with the Queen, and Kahori and her tribe come in and they start talking to each other, and even my son was like, "Daddy, how do they know what each other's saying?" I said, buddy, that's a good question. That's a really good question. I put it off as like the Tesseract made it to where she could like vocalize and they would understand, and almost like an interpreter kind of deal. But I don't know.
Yeah, I kind of wondered that too. To me, I just chalked it up to it's been a while, so she's just learned their language, maybe. But
okay,
what was it? I mean, it's one thing I had noticed is that the Spanish was in yellow text.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the Mohican was in white. And so she there at the end, like hers was yellow. Like, so she was speaking, and cause I don't speak Spanish, but, so I wasn't sure if she did or not, but that was their way of kind of telling you that they were both speaking Spanish.
Okay.
Because hers was when she spoke, it was in yellow as well.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, is that the subtitle text changes to yellow when she shows up. So that was like a clue in on that she's speaking the same language as them. And because of how long they don't technically show us how long it's been But being that she wasn't able to just create portals to begin with, she moved that previous one. Now she's able to full on create them. I assume some time has passed and she's just learned it. Or you know what? They're establishing that the fucking Tesseract / Space Stone is just the Swiss Army knife of the MCU. So maybe it just gave her powers to like fucking speak all languages or something.
That's what I like better.
Yeah.
I
will
mean,
say,
that's
like,
what I was thinking. So yes, I would like that better. But I'm just saying, like,
I will say that I like this version of who has the Tesseract better because it feels like they have a better understanding of how to like, or at least to an extent, have a better understanding of how to like keep the world at peace a little bit more than Loki and all of them.
Oh yeah.
Who was looking for world domination?
Yeah.
That's great.
When since you mentioned it, when they showed up, the Spaniards showed up, I immediately was like,
nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
that's the first thing that popped into my head was that Monty Python bit. But yeah, I just thought it was funny.
And I also like I almost was wanting to like pause it and compare his like how close he looked between like this guy and the one in Pocahontas.
Oh,
Like like because they were both chubby and like I mean they were kind of I don't know,
Yeah.
seemed kind of similar.
yeah, I'm sure they probably did that on purpose. Like the villain from that one and the villain from the other one. Yeah, there's a guy who's walking into the fountain of youth, if you will, for the first time, and his character model just looks like Pedro Pascal. Like I was just like, is that Pedro? Rewatch it again if you want to, or fast forward to that scene. But when the Spaniards are like walking into the water for the first time, you know, they get sucked in. That first guy that's walking in, I'm like, is that Pedro Pascal?
Yes.
Well, and like so one other thing I was like, you know, they did the whole hunting thing for rocks. I'm like, what are we gonna do with rocks? I don't understand.
I think they said they were fruit, so I think they just look like rocks, but they're actually fruit. I don't know. Like that Sky World,
that rock candy type stuff.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, sure. We'll go with that. It's rock candy,
Crack cocaine.
well, it showed them. It's meth. It's Walter's meth. The blue meth.
Yes.
No, when one of the like older ladies comes to Kahori, it's like split open, and there's like seeds in there as well. I don't know. Like, why do the weird space bison, like, why do they grow off the backs of them? It's all weird. I think it's steeped in like the mythology of Native Americans. Also, I want to know, is the Sky Planet or the Sky World a planet? Like, since the Space Stone is the Space Stone and it takes you to other places, like, what's the deal with all that? How does it give people power? Like, all that should have been a little bit more fleshed out. Like, then the Space Stone is like ingrained into this other world, and when they eat and exist in this world, they get those powers. It's very nebulous the way they do this. And even with the Space Stone in general, like, you know, it gave Captain Marvel her powers. Now Kahori, it powered up Red Skull's weapons and armies. It opens portals. It's the Space Stone. Like I said, it's like this jack of all trades relic.
Good one to have.
Yeah.
I'll say the two things that I think of, you know, we're talking about the planet and how it works and where it is and stuff. I was thinking either it's like, is it Tao Lo?
Yeah.
Kung Lao?
Yeah, Tao Lo and Kung Lung.
Kung Lung, that's right. I was thinking maybe it's one of those kind of like deals where it's like a dimensional kind of shift.
No, that kind of makes sense.
Or it's like the Soul Stone, where like the Soul Stone has the Soul
like
World.
Soul World.
Yeah.
Oh,
and so
cool.
maybe that's what the Tesseract is. Tesseract World.
It's Space World.
Space World, yeah. Yeah. Space Mountain. Okay.
Space Mountain. There was a mountain.
Related back to Disney. So, yeah. So, yeah, I'm thinking one of those two, in my mind, anyways.
Yeah.
But completely wrong, though, too. So, I don't know.
I like that, though. I like the idea of it being like Tao Lo and Kung Lung kind of thing. That makes more sense to me.
especially with the bison,
Yeah.
because we saw in Shang-Chi with having the dragon there and other weird animals and stuff like that maybe this place just has, fruit bisons.
Fruit meth bison.
Not fruit bats, but fruit bison.
They probably have fruit bats too. Who knows? The last note I have is I just like when we talked a little bit about it, when she shows up and starts talking with Queen Isabella, she like picks up her throne and then like just breaks it. It felt very Magneto-ish to me. That felt like a very like Magneto moment. I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, I love how it's just like, I'm gonna force peace on you. Like this is nobody has to get in chains. You don't have to bow down or anything, but I'm going to force peace on you. Like that's
yeah. And then when Strange Supreme shows up, he's like, wow, you achieved, world peace within, like a matter of minutes or whatever. He's like, congratulations. I wonder how long that'll work out.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I love Doctor Strange's like theme song.
Oh,
I love hearing it. I love when it kicks up. It's just, it's great. It's perfect. Doctor Strange has become like one of my favorite characters now because of Cumberbatch and like the movies and stuff. So I absolutely love hearing that kick in, and just it's very reminiscent of Tony, just the snarkiness and whatnot. And I just love those characters, I guess.
Yeah, well, yeah, obviously.
You just eat your peanut butter Oreos over there.
Yeah, I need some. Of course, they'd probably be frozen out here right now. So
yeah, that comes for us next week. So
yep.
Right. Y'all got anything else?
Nope, that's it for me.
Yeah, I'm good.
Cool. I did. Do y'all like that we've gotten to like episodes 5 and 6 before they start alluding to a connected world in this season 2?
Yeah, I mean, like, I can't remember. Did it last season's have a connected thing at the end?
Yeah,
yes,
I think it did.
It was like the last 2 episodes or something.
Yeah, I mean, like, I like it. I think it's still kind of reminiscent of some of the other, like the actual Avengers movies. Just at the end, kind of pulling them together, but and not giving much information. So makes it fun. Just kind of anticipation a little bit.
Yeah, I like the idea of it just being an anthology. So I don't know if I like that they're connected somehow, but it is what it is. It's fine. It doesn't really like, I'm not like, oh, I'm mad, like kind of thing. But I personally would rather it just not be connected. But yeah, that's just me.
Does that make it like, is that pretty much a statement as to where we are as far as media consumers? We're like, it's like everything has to be connected now.
Oh yeah.
We can't just have one-off stuff. Like,
yeah, I mean, that is a thing. Everything's going to have a multiverse now and everything's connected. And it's just like, please stop. Please just stop.
Well, all right then. Jeremy, where can they find you at?
They can find me on Twitch under the handle Night Fury GTO. And you can find me here. And I did play a little bit of Spider-Man. I haven't played much of it, but I did play some. But maybe like frozen in tomorrow, so that may be all I can do anyway.
You just got 2 rounds of applause this episode, Jeremy.
I know.
Look at you.
Well, every now and then I can have my moment, but
you Oreo and your peanut butter and eat it too.
Yeah, and yeah, it's just. But one of these days, I'm gonna get those moments whenever I'm bringing up Brie Larson and Captain Marvel. So
no, absolutely not.
I want to bring Brie Larson on here one day just to see the interaction between Jeremy and her. That'd be great.
And talk about how Jeremy has not seen her movie enough to even know the characters that are in it.
What?
My wife.
I mean, I think y'all should know by now. If it's like beyond 30 minutes after I've watched this movie, I probably forgot most of it.
I envy you.
I was proof listening the episode, and I'm just leaving this in. And when it got to the point when you were telling Michael about like, oh, maybe you should rewatch Captain Marvel, and I went like, maybe you need to rewatch Captain Marvel. My wife was listening to it in the car and said the exact same phrase at the exact same moment I did in the recording.
That's great.
Well,
Richard, where can they find you at?
If you want to contact me directly, I have an X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, an Instagram, and a Threads. My handle is Night Curry, night like day and night, and Curry with a K. If you want to contact us directly, we have a Gmail. Our Gmail is comicallycomicspodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to check us out on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, you can check us out under the name Comically Comics Podcast. And if you want to check us out on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter, you can check us out under the name Comically Comics with an X.
Yes, sir. You can find me on Instagram and eBay at 22_comics. You can also find me on YouTube at 22comics. Thank y'all so much for listening. Hope you enjoyed as much as we did making it. With all that being said, think about it, Jeremy.
bye, Jeremy.
Bye, Jeremy. Bye.
Hey gang, my name's Carl Box, and I'm the proud CEO of Oreos, Milk's favorite cookie. After the smash success of our birthday cake Oreos, we got to thinking of all the other special events that can use the world's greatest sandwich cookies. From wedding cake Oreos to graduation Oreos, retirement Oreos, to bereavement Oreos for funerals. Nope. Hey gang, nope. We're not doing that.
People love it.
What do you mean people love bereavement Oreos?
Focus groups love the taste of them.
Yeah, Kyle, they taste like Oreos.